everybody, I'm James Jagger with Tactical Response. Hey, an imposter. Get out of here, Bob. Okay, stay right there. Hey everybody, James Jagger with Tactical Response. Thanks for tuning in. I just was the other day, like when I was at NRA show, I run into Rob Pincus. We talked for a while, and I've always liked Rob, and not to the scale of me, but he says stuff sometimes that makes people mad and stuff like that, and kind of there's some controversy there. But I tell people all the time that ask me about Rob Pincus, I say, listen, forget the gun stuff. If you had dinner with Rob Pincus, a conversation, you'd get up, walk away from that table, and go, man, he's a good dude. He's a nice guy. He's a good person. Rob is smart. He's passionate about what he does, and he's a good human being. He's caring. He's a committed father. You know, he's a good human being. And so that got me to thinking. And then just yesterday, as I filmed this, just yesterday, he introduced me to a podcaster that wanted to interview me for a podcast, and so I'll be doing that, and I'll post that up when it happens and all that stuff. But just like he didn't have to do that, he went out of his way to spend his energy to introduce me to somebody that will help me market my business. He didn't have to do that, and that made me start thinking about, like, I've hosted Rob at my range, and you guys know the list of instructors that I've hosted over the years. Rob and Super Dave, and Chris Costa, John Farnham, and John Lovell's coming up for patrol class, and Pat McNamara in the spring. Both of those classes are sold out, and South Narc and all the people I've hosted here, and the first thing is, never charge anybody a penny for using my range. It's always free, and we always have a liaison there to help the guys that get them targets and stapled up and help them run the range and stuff like that. Always try to make it a very positive experience, positive place for them to teach a class. It's very easy for them to teach a class, and so I want to talk about that for a minute, like real instructors, professional instructors. And when I say a real instructor or professional instructor, I mean one that has a name. A name, so, like, there's a lot of guys spend a whole lot of energy, like, bashing me and stuff like that, and the reason they do that is they have a lot of extra time on their hands, because they don't have any students, and so they just sit around and bash me and stuff like that. But what I want to say is, like, I try to lead by example in a lot of respects, and whether or not you like me or not, or if you think I'm a good instructor or not, I tell my students to train with other instructors. Now, there's a lot of instructors. There's some instructors that would tell you don't need to train anywhere else, but here, this is the fountain of knowledge. Everywhere else is a lie. I'm the exact opposite of that. I'm like, you won't know what I'm telling you is any good or the truth until you train at other places. And the way I've explained it many times is, you as an individual practitioner of this art, the only true American martial art, it's a jigsaw puzzle, and no instructor has all the pieces. None of them, no matter what they tell you, me included, none of them has all the pieces, but every instructor has at least one piece. Okay, and so as you train with people, you'll get your pieces of your puzzle, and you'll realize that you'll get enough pieces, and that piece really doesn't fit anywhere, and you'll set that to the side. You won't throw it away. You'll set it to the side as you continue putting your puzzle together. So I'm telling you that I am not the fountain of knowledge. I frequently talk about other instructors. I frequently go to other classes and record those classes and give reviews of those classes and things like that to promote those guys. I've done this with Clint Smith at Thunder Ranch, with Chris Costa, John Farnham, any number of people, Super Dave, any number of people to help spread that message. Now, one of the advantages that I have in this whole thing, again, I've been in the business. This is my 21st year in business, and it's all and I love it when some guy makes fun of me and says, "Oh, you're going to be out of business now," and I'm like, "Man, you know how many times I've been told that in 21 years, and every year I have more students than the last year." But the whole thing is that I believe that it is my duty to promote the entire art That's why I host these guys here. That's why I make it as easy as I can for them. That's why I don't charge them any money. I want to expose my students to what I think are the best instructors in the industry. Now, some of it is selfish because, like the Pat McNamara class coming up, I signed up for that class. You know, not a free slot. Like I didn't even ask for a free slot. When the registration came open, selfishly, I signed up for the class because I've never trained with him. I signed up for the class, and then I told my alumni, and then all of my alumni filled up the class. So no person outside of Tactical Response is in those two classes because I give my alumni the first shot at that. But that's the selfish part. But I paid for it, so I just got first in line, like any class host would. But I don't know. I'm kind of rambling a bit. But at the end of the day, I have this wonderful audience that listens to my videos, and you guys need to understand the way I see things as far as this whole training thing is that we should be a group of people. There should be an association of instructors. There should be an association of instructors where nobody is shunned or cast out or whatever the case may be, good or bad or indifferent. We are this group of instructors, and we could help move this entire thing forward. We could help each other. Like, you know, it seems like I'm trying to do it all by myself, and that's okay. That's okay. I've been Don Quixote. I've been jousting windmills for 21 years. It's not a problem. But what I would encourage other instructors and other people to do, just like Rob Pincus did the other day. I mean, he's always been nice to me, way back. He's always been nice to me. But help somebody out, make a connection for them. I'll tell that to any of these guys. Like if I know if I know an instructor, like, you know, when they're here, I talk to them. I've introduced these guys with me to other manufacturers that I'm friends with, like Midwest Industries and, you know, Surefire and different companies, and or however I can help them, you know, move their ball forward. It's what I do. So even if you're not a firearms instructor, you should be doing that for people. Like, you yourself should be helping people get what they want in life. And the selfish part of it is, if you act selfless long enough, you'll get everything you want out of life. I promise you that. I absolutely promise you that. So when you see, you know, Chris Costa is going to be back here in the fall, or John Lovell, or you know, Pat, or John Farnham is going to be here. He typically is here every February. When you start seeing those names pop up, remember that I thought enough of them to host them at my range. Number one. So that means something, because they are honorable, respectable, professional teachers. But remember, I didn't have to, and I'm telling my students to go take their class. And I've said stuff like, for instance, of John Farnham, Ken Hagethorn, Clint Smith, with all respect, I say things like, yeah, those guys are like, you know, Vietnam era. They're older gentlemen, and they won't be around forever. This is not me trying to be rude. I say, if you have money for one class next year, I'll tell you this too. If you have money for one class next year, if it's between me or training with Hack or Farnham or Clint Smith, that's who you should train with. Like, I'll be here. Knock on wood, but you know, something you know could happen, of course, but you should go train with those guys, the guys I consider to be the fathers of this stuff, and certainly guys that I call mentors. Chris Costa and me are going to be around for a while. Pat, fucking healthy as shit, he's going to be around for a while, but Clint and Farnham and those guys aren't. So train with whoever you can, train with the best people you can, train as often as you can, and be the best human being you can be. Like, I gain nothing from hosting these guys. Gladly, I gain nothing from hosting these guys, other than some camaraderie and friendship, and if they let me shoot, I get some shooting in and a little bit of training. But as far as like business wise, it doesn't help me to bring people in and introduce my students to them and have my students give them money instead of me. Doesn't make any business sense at all. And yet, I'm glad to do it, and it works out. James Schaefer for Tactical Response, reminding you that your responsibility to be the best person you can be never ends.